Hello, I'm Nahana from Smoky Mountain Farmhouse here in Zone 7A, and today we're going to be planting some hydrangeas and some lilac. So I don't know if you saw our hillside garden video where we planted yarrow and allium along our hillside here, but this is the same area that we're going to be planting the two hydrangeas we have here today. Now we already have two planted in this area. They are the Endless Summer series, but they are the Bloomstruck variety. Today we are going to be planting the Blushing Bride, and we are going to plant them in a row right along next to the other two. So when you're planting a hydrangea, you want to dig out a hole that is 1.5 times the size of the pot or the root ball that you have. So I'm going to use this shovel and kind of trace around this pot and then go ahead and dig out the hole. So when you plant a hydrangea, you want to dig the hole 1.5 times the size of the root ball or the pot that you have. So you can check that by just placing your plant inside the hole that you've dug and just kind of see if it looks big enough for those roots to start to expand. And I think this looks pretty good. So I have a bag of compost here. This is mushroom compost. And I'm just gonna mix in some compost down in the bottom of the hole and mix it in with the soil. About good, and I'm just going to kind of stir it in at the bottom, mix it in with the dirt that's already there, and we'll put in a little bit more in just a minute. So we're going to take this out of the pot. We're just going to kind of brace the stem and just set it down in the hole. Perfect. Empty out the dirt that's in there. Let's see. And it looks like it's actually a little bit lower than the ground, so I am going to actually elevate it up just a little bit so you can kind of just check as you go. Add a little bit of dirt here on this side and put some of this dirt back in. I'm picking the rocks out as I go because there is so many rocks in the dirt here. Let's check it now. Gently take it. A little bit more. And I'm just going to slowly start filling in this hole and leveling out the root ball. So I finished planting the first Endless Summer Blushing Bride hydrangea right here, and ideally you should put 2 to 3 inches of mulch around it after you're done, but I don't have any mulch right now, and in fact the mulch that I did have around the 2 Endless Summer Bloomstruck that we planted earlier on in the season has pretty much washed away down this hill. We have got so much rain that I'm a bit concerned that our yarrow that we had planted along here may have gotten washed away. Now there is some that I can see popping up in various places, but it's kind of hard to tell. So it's not because of the cold, they've done well from the cold, but it's just because we have gotten so much rain and it just keeps washing this hillside away. So it's kind of like a race to get stuff established on this hill before the rain comes. That way it can kind of help with that erosion, but it's kind of a tough balance to try to figure out when. So I do have a lot more yarrow actually starting right now, and hopefully if any of it didn't make it, I can just fill in the areas that it didn't, and it won't be raining as much, because I think February is probably our biggest rainy season here. That's something that we've kind of noticed. So I'm going to go ahead and plant the other endless summer hydrangea right next to me right here along this row, and I'm going to do it the exact same way I did this one.
You're going to plant plants here? But I promise I won't step on them while I'm doing this. Okay? Almost at the top, and not that top. Hold on. Made it. Whee! Mama.
You gotta pick the rocks out and toss the rocks down the hill. Okay? Only rocks, though, not dirt.
There you go, Mama.
Thank you.
Just rocks.
Oh, yeah? I think we gotta toss the rocks all the way down to it dry.
Why? I did it. See, Mama, look.
Good job.
I'm putting some dirt in there.
Good job.
You put that stuff in there, I'll put the dirt in, okay?
Okay.
We're going to put some of this on it, okay? I'll add some of this on it. There you go, Mama. I'm the best helper, am I?
Yeah.
I'm good at planting plants.
So I finished planting the second Blushing Bride hydrangea right here, and I'm about to start planting the lilac, but I wanted to mention that the peonies that are in this bed behind me are doing wonderful. A little bit ago I mentioned that I was concerned the rain had washed away some of the yarrow, but the peonies, they are thriving. They're several inches tall with bright, vibrant red leaves, and so are the allium. The allium, so many of them have sprouted. Eventually we're going to put some rock around this area and lay some compost and mulch. Behind me it's not as steep, and so that will stay in place, but from here forward is where this hillside really gets steep, and that's where the yarrow is going to play a really big role in helping with that erosion. But the trick is going to be getting it established and big enough before any sort of rain can wash it away. And I do have some more yarrow that are growing that I just seed started recently. So if any of them have washed away, we can replace them and just really work on getting this area established. So we do have the 4 hydrangeas, we have the 5 peonies, which are the bowl of beauty and the bowl of cream, and we have a couple of different varieties of allium in here, and eventually we're going to have some lavender. So this is coming along. It's going to take a bit of work because it's just so rocky. There's a bunch of weeds, but slowly but surely we're getting everything established. So now I'm going to go ahead and plant the lilac. Today we're going to be planting two different types of lilac. The first one is called Vulgaris purple, and it is also known as the common lilac. We have two common lilacs planted along our driveway right here, and we got those last year at this time, but they were in about a 3-gallon size pot, whereas this is just essentially a bare root that is only about a year old. So it's going to take a lot longer for this to flower. We picked them up at a box store and just thought we'd give them a try. And then the other one is called Parisian. The Parisian gets a lot smaller than the common lilac. The common lilac can get 8 to 10 foot tall, and I think it can get even bigger than that. But the Parisian gets about 4 to 6 foot tall, and the blooms on the Parisian are about half the size as the common lilac. I've never grown the Parisian before or seen them in person, so I'm excited to give them a try and just have a couple of different varieties to choose from. They both will bloom at the same time from late spring through early summer, but I'm gonna put the common lilac right here next to this common lilac, and then we're gonna find another spot to put these two Parisians.
This is Miss Daisy. She's a chicken. She's really cute. She's really sweet. We've got golden chickens and they're really sweet. And this is our farm where we grow the cut flowers and microgreens. And this is our chicken.
So I don't have to dig this hole near as deep as we did with the hydrangeas a little bit ago because the root ball is much smaller. So I'm just going to dig out a small hole right here. I'm actually planting this next to where we used to have a Bradford pear. When we moved into this house, there were several planted along the driveway, and when we spoke with our forester, they told us about how invasive they were. So we, with the instruction of our forester, chopped all of them down. So we have a lot of open space along our driveway here. This is also where we've planted some tulips in a small tulip bed, and we have 2 peonies beds along the driveway. So I'm just utilizing, because we have such a long driveway, I'm utilizing the space that we have. So even though the hole has to be dug smaller, you still want to follow the same concept and dig it about twice the size of the root ball. So I'm just digging out some space here and making sure I have it lined up with the one that's right next to it. So we have our hole dug out, and we're going to add some compost in. So I decided to plant both our Parisian lilacs right here close to the house. Across from me is our edible herb garden, and kind of over here to the right is our hillside garden, and we actually get a lot of deer through here. There was some deer eating our yarrow last year, so I'm hoping that these lilac will help deter them from the area. I know that lilac themselves are deer resistant. I just don't know how far away they will stay from the area. So they actually really like to roam around in this brush that's behind me. And when we first moved into the house, the brush was about waist high, and it was all the way up to this point. Whenever they come and harvest the trees, we'd like to work on clearing that out some more and maybe plant some wildflowers back here. But for now, let's go ahead and get these lilac planted. So the Parisian lilacs, they can be planted about 6 to 8 feet apart. I have them about 10 feet apart, and the common lilac, I forgot to mention, those are about 10 to 12 feet apart, and I ended up planting those about 13 feet apart. So I give myself a little bit of extra room because I just don't want them to get too overcrowded. So I'm gonna go ahead and start digging and get these planted. So we finished planting these lilac just in time because we are running out of daylight. That sun went down pretty quick. So we are done with this project, and we have another exciting project coming soon at the end of the week. We are getting over 50 new trees and bushes, so stay tuned to find out what all those are. As always, we thank you for watching our small farm grow. And I have a couple of little helpers here. Hi, Miss Daisy. What do you think about it?
Yeah.
Daisy,
That chicken's so funny.
don't eat it.
I think she was just playing with you and like picked it.
She plucked the leaf off.
Wait, what?
She ate half of it. And that is a concern I have about planting one so small, that the chickens might think it's a snack.
Yeah.
But we'll have to keep them away from it.